Hey, I'm Les. I would like to do a video on installing the Maximum-CA. We're installing it into a Nissan NV van. I want to go over also how we test the engine load. And this information would probably be good for you to check your engine and engine load. So I've got a little demonstration. I'm going to show how you check engine load and how much power you're drawing from an engine. But I'll just open the door so you can see our install of the Maximum-CA. And Jack, come on up and show the inside. You'll see it's fitting good. It's a 151 gallon recovery tank. We actually added 1 foot distance to the TNT and it gave us the 151 gallon recovery. As you can see it fits pretty good. We just installed our liquid tank. These are rods that we use to draw it up. We'll be cutting those off and capping them. The tank is now underneath the vehicle. Let's see if Jack can get under there and show it to you. It tucks in real nice where the spare tire was, and then we'll be plumbing it up with the LP hose. Also, I'm going to show you what I do with this piece of metal as far as engine testing. It's kind of a little way of checking your load on the engine, making sure your calculations are right when designing a truck mount. You know, you calculate your blower horsepower, RPM. You got to calculate your belts into the picture and how much the pump pulls, and this kind of confirms where you're at on your horsepower load on the engine. Using this technique, you can also use this to check your engine and see how wore out it is by how much load is on the engine. This is a kind of a neat way we come up with checking load on an engine. So I'm going to go over that, but let's talk about the machine for a minute. It's 151 gallon. Let's go around to the side, Jack. The unit sitting in the side door. On these Nissan vans, the seats pull forward and lean way forward. So show that, Jack, how much room. Look how much room there is to work on this unit. You can actually sit on that console like a chair and work on this machine. Tremendous amount of room to work on this. But what I want to show you is how we check horsepower load on an engine, and this will really help you on your machine to tell you the condition of your engine. So I'm going to go inside and go on the other side of the engine and show you this little meter that I've made to show the engine load, and I'll get Jack to shine over the dash. So I'll go around. Alright, as you can see, this machine is extremely easy to work on. Especially we can stand up inside this thing. But all engines have a governor. And a governor is a little rod that moves, that adds power. So what you do is you see what the stroke is of the governor. And then I lay the piece of metal down in here. Okay, like that. And we can check by marking. You can see I put a mark right there on the governor, and with the engine idling I marked where it is on this piece of metal. Then I went to full throttle, marked it, and now I check my horsepower load. So first thing we do, we're going to test this machine at full load of 16 inches of mercury. Well, that mark came out to about a little past halfway, and then we check it at 12 inches of mercury, which is what a truck mount operates at. The only way to get a truck mount to go to 16 inches, you have to stop the air from entering it, and that's not how they're used. So what we were interested in is double checking our horsepower load under operating conditions. So when we cranked up the machine and we put it at 12 inches of mercury, it was at that mark. So let's just go over what these marks are. Now, that's idle, that's full throttle. So now, if you took that distance between these two marks and broke them up in 10 parts, halfway would be 50%. So we know that this was idle. That's 12 inches of mercury, the first one. that's not quite halfway. It's about 40%. It's rough. It just gives you an idea. So this machine, while cleaning, operates at right at 40% load off this engine. That leaves us a 60% reserve. Now that takes in consideration for high altitude. So we got a 60% horsepower reserve in this engine under operating conditions. Then we took it at full 16 inches of mercury, and it was just a little past 50%, so it was probably we had a 40% reserve horsepower under full load, but truck mounts don't operate under full load. Now you can do the same thing with your engine. If you want to know how wore out your engine is, you can make a little chart, mark your stroke of the governor, load the engine at operating condition, and if it moves 75%, then you're using 75% of the horsepower. And so this machine has really turned out to be a very efficient unit, and I'm real happy with the numbers that it's only using 40% of the engine under operating conditions. And so I thought I would make a little video on how we do this. It's just a way of double checking your horsepower load. Another thing I kind of left out on the original Maximum-CA video is that the belts can be purchased at a auto parts, and that's kind of important. You know, the direct drive couplings, you can't get those in auto parts, and also the industrial A belts and B belts are kind of odd to get. So another good thing about a Judson design is you can get the belts at auto parts. Anyway, I thought I'd make a quick video, show you how we're installing the machine and how you check engine load on an engine. So this is something you can do with your machine and check your actual condition of your unit. I'll make another video as we get this machine finished up. Alright, thanks.